Alright, in this quick video, I want to show you how John created an email, the first part of his campaign, and built empathy and also created a desire and a need for change with his audience. So let's just kind of read through this, and I'll just kind of walk you through some subscripts and some notes that I made when I was going through this email campaign. First of all, he starts off with a big dream. Want to be a columnist for a big magazine or newspaper? That is a big dream. A lot of writers dream about that, and they hope for that, right? Then what he does to kind of start the email off is he says, if so, you need to read this. And what he's doing right here is he's setting up a story, because stories are a very powerful way to start creating empathy with your audience and to start building a connection. And that's why he's going into a story mode here. So then he talks about his story. And he says, a few years ago, Forbes approached me about writing a column for them. I was already book solid, so I politely turned them down, but I still couldn't help feeling flattered that they offered, right? That's building into that dream of like, wow, man, Forbes approached me, of all people. Early in my career, I would have killed for a gig like that, right? That is the thing, right? It's just emphasizing that hope and dream. I also would have been shocked to find out exactly what it takes to get offered one. Now, what it takes, that is an obstacle, isn't it? Right? And then he kind of goes into a little bit more here. He says, for instance, you would think it's about being a great writer, right? Or having impeccable credentials. Those are other obstacles that writers believe, and they think that I've got to be a great writer, or I have to have these amazing credentials in order to be approached by Forbes, or some huge publisher. But it's not. Sure, those things still matter, but not nearly as much as they used to. Nowadays, it's all about traffic. The truth, right? That's what he's saying here. This is the truth, which shows you that there's a need for change. If you're encountering these obstacles, right, being a great writer, you believe that you need impeccable credentials to be approached by Forbes and achieve that dream, the truth is that it's all about traffic. And that's what he's sharing right here, and he's showing that there's a need for you to make a change in the way that you think, and the way that you act, and the way that you believe in order to make this, your dream, possible. You see, advertisers pay big magazines and newspapers based on the number of people who see their ads. The more page views a publisher receives, the more money they make. He's just emphasizing that truth. Like, that's really what's going on if you look at it behind the scenes, right? So guess what magazines and newspapers do? They hunt for writers who are good at getting traffic. The better you are at writing articles that go viral and get a ton of page views, the more big magazines and newspapers want you. So right here, he's showing you an obstacle. The better you are at writing articles, that's an obstacle that writers struggle with. Well, how do I get better at writing articles? Another obstacle, going viral, right? Getting a ton of page views. Those are obstacles that beginning writers struggle with. And then right here, he finishes off with, the more big magazines and newspapers want you. He's re-emphasizing that dream that he shared with you at the beginning when he opened this. In my case, Forbes approached me after one of my articles went viral, and I got over 1 million visitors. Now, one of the things I want to emphasize about John is that he is a very smart and talented writer, and he knows how to empathize with his audience. And telling this right here, I got over 1 million visitors. That's a big number. For a beginning writer, they immediately go, wow, I could never do that. I mean, it would be amazing if I did, but man, could I really do something like that? I don't know if I can. Then he writes this sentence right below it. It feels strange to say that, by the way. I always wanted to touch a lot of people with my work, but I never figured just one article would reach more than 1 million people. Right here, he's totally humanizing himself, right? And he's saying, like, I can't believe this has happened. I'm not some godlike creature. I'm just a normal, average, everyday human being, right? And he's really humanizing, and he's building on that empathy with the reader. But it happened. Then he goes into this sentence. And afterward, everyone wanted me to write for them. I got offers for book deals, paid columnist positions, hundreds of high-paying freelance writing gigs. These are all the dreams and all the hopes that writers want. They would love to have people grabbing at them. Hey, come write a book deal for us. Hey, be a paid columnist. Or hey, here's a bunch of freelancing writing gigs. Right? That's what writers dream to get, and that's what he's laying out here. These are the dreams and hopes they desire to get. Why? Because everyone needs traffic, and I knew how to get it. But do you? So the reason why this sentence is probably here is because he's trying to emphasize that he knows how to get it, but do you know how to get it, right? And what that's causing in you is to make you go, well, I don't know how to get the traffic like that, right? That's an obstacle that you've got to overcome. And he says, still do. Fast forward a few years, and my work has now reached over 200 million people total. Still hard to wrap my mind around that sometimes. And this is just emphasizing social proof. Like, he knows what he's doing, so there's probably an element of trust there. Like, wow, 200 million people total. Like, if you're brand new to getting to know John Morrow, like, this is instant credibility right here. That's what he's showing right there. Scrolling down, though, it all started with that one article. In fact, if you ask around, most top writers have a similar story. They labor in obscurity for a while, but then something they wrote took off and made them famous. And right there, he's telling you there's hope for you too. But there's one problem. Now he's emphasizing the thing is there's hope, but there's some obstacles you've got to overcome, right? Nobody shares how they did it. And this is where he sets up a need for change, right? Right there. That's right. I mean, if you're reading this, you agree with him. That's right. Nobody shows me how to do this stuff. I need to change. There's got to be some sort of need to change. Something needs to change. Then he writes in this area here, he says, let's say you're a beginning writer, you have talent, you're willing to work hard, and you genuinely respect the craft. Those two sentences are huge empathy bombs. Like, that's exactly what he is writing there, is pure empathy. I mean, he's touching your heartstrings. If you're a beginning writer, you know you have talent, you're willing to work hard, and you genuinely respect the craft, you're going to be like, yes, that's me. Yes, that's me. I'm totally going to agree with you. You get me, right? That's the idea. How can you write an article that goes viral, obstacle, turning you into a writer everyone wants to publish? That's the dream, right? How do you go from obstacle, overcome that obstacle, to achieving the dream? Nobody tells you like it's some big secret or something. But that's silly. If more talented writers knew how to get the traffic they deserve, the whole world would be better off. This is the hope, right? Writers dream of this stuff. They hope about this. Like, if I knew how to get the traffic I knew that I deserve, and the whole world would be better off if I were able to share my voice and get out there in front of more people, right? Or my ideas, or whatever it may be, right? Those are the hopes that writers aspire to get to. So I've decided to do something about it. And this right here is an offer. He's offering hope to overcome the obstacle, right? I'm releasing a case study of how I wrote and promoted the article that got over 1 million visitors. I'll send it to you in pieces over the next few days. Now right here, he's just kind of setting expectations. But he says right here, it won't cost you a dime either. I could easily charge for it, but I've decided to release the entire case study for free, giving you more hope, right? By giving it away to you for free, that's giving you more hope. Yes, you get me. You understand me. Then he just goes on to finish. Not because I'm selfless, I'm just a believer in karma, and if I help you out, I figure it'll come back around to me sooner or later. Watch your inbox. You'll get an email tomorrow with the subject line, How to Become a Highly Sought After Writer, Part 1. Now what he's doing right here is just a quick little tactic on setting expectations of what you can expect. Look out for this email because you're going to want to pay attention, right? I'm going to start showing you how to get to your dreams and help you aspire and hit your hopes and get there and overcome those obstacles. That's what he's doing when he closes this email. It's going to be a lot of fun. Hope you're excited. Talk soon, John. So that is a breakdown of that email that inspires, builds hope, helps take people to a place where they know they need to create change. They need to aspire to change. And at the same time, he's building empathy. Beginning writers read that and they know that this guy gets me.